What is going on, you and the tube? This your boy Trucker Will, and we trucking it like always. Trying to make this money, trying to make this dough. Like I just said, we're trying to make this money, we're trying to make this dough. And one thing that I've heard a lot of is I've heard a lot about people trying to figure out why they're not making as much money as they possibly could. So we're going to talk about that in one big reason why. Next on Trucking with Trucker Will. Alright, YouTube. So, like I said, trying to make money and you're not making money. Why? Why are you not making money? Well, here's the reason. At the end of the week, what is your tank at? Ask yourself, what is your tank at the end of the week? Is it full at the end of the week, or is it dang near empty where you putzing into the fuel aisle to fill up for your next load? Where's your fuel at? So, how do we fix that so you can put the most amount of money in your pocket so you can take it home to mom, so you can take it home to the kids, so you can take it home to your significant other? Well, we're gonna talk about it. So one big thing is how you're running your truck. Now, most people at Prime, they tell you to run your truck 55 miles an hour. You're going to conserve the most amount of fuel, and it's your prerogative over here as a lease operator. You can run your truck at 55 miles an hour. You could run your truck at 60 miles an hour. It's up to you. People do it, they make money. People do it faster, they make money too. It just kind of depends on how you run your truck, or aka your business. So for me, I'm gonna show you how I do it, right? So throughout the week, I'm running, beginning my week, this is how I start my week. Depending on where my load goes and how many miles it is, I typically get about 7.8 to 8 miles to the gallon. So we'll just say I get about 8 miles to the gallon. Put that up there. 8 miles to the gallon. Say my trip is, we'll do a long trip. We'll say that it's 1,000 miles. So we're gonna do 1,000 miles, and we're only getting 8 miles to the gallon. So you would take 1,000, divide that by 8. That's how many gallons you're going to need. Now, our trucks can typically do 100 gallons on both sides, so 200 gallons from empty, bone dry empty to full. But that's typically. So if you're doing about 800 miles on a full tank of fuel, you can get about 1,000 miles to a tank of fuel. So, I mean, each truck is different. Peterbelts are different, International is different. This is based off of my Freightliner. Now, there's a lot of other, things that go into that. Your air pressure, your filters, your wind, how heavy your load is. There's a lot of other circumstances that are in there that you really can't control. But the thing that you can control is your fuel and your air pressure, and the speed that you're driving. So for me, on my truck, I can get about 1,000 miles to a tank of fuel. So with my 1,000 miles that I get to a tank of fuel, I start my week off, I'm gonna fill my tank up. I'm gonna run that load. By the time I get to that load being done, I should be dang near empty. My light should be coming on, give or take, depending on how heavy the load is. So my next load, say it's like 300 miles, I'm gonna put 60 gallons in. So 60 gallons is gonna get me to my next spot. Then my next load, say it's another 300 miles, 60 gallons. So what I'm doing, 60 gallons, bam. Now we near the end of the week. So at the end of near the end of the week, say we're on Monday, right? Typically, if you pick up a load on Friday or Saturday or even Monday, you're dropping Wednesday morning. Now, say that load goes 400 miles. So I might do 70 or 80 gallons that last week. Now, I've used all my fuel for the week. I'm running. That last load that I'm getting, it drops in the morning, right? So, I'm going to try and do my very darndest to have that last load that I have. I'm going to try to do it, calculate it as best as I can, so where I end my week, my tank is empty. Empty meaning I used all the fuel for all the loads, and I don't fill up at the end of the week. I do not. I don't fill up until I get my next load and I drop the current load. So, let me repeat it again. End of the week's coming up. That load that I'm on, after I get that load, so I'm running and I'm almost here and I'm almost out of fuel. I'm only putting enough fuel to get to my 90. That's it. Only enough fuel to get to my 90. If I fill my tank up, I'm overfilling and I'm taking money out of my pocket because the fuel that I'm using is taken away from the revenue from that trip. So, you fill enough to get to your 90, and then after you get to your 90, you should have enough fuel to get to the nearest fuel station. Now, if you guys don't pay attention, some of y'all do, some of y'all don't. Most shippers, most receivers, there's a Love's TA Petrol right around the corner. Most of the time. Sometimes it's a little bit farther. In most of my cases, there's a Love's TA 6 or 7 miles away. So when I end my week, my tank is almost empty. My light's on. My check fuel light is on. It's ding, bing, bing, bing. Meaning I feel like I did the right thing. So I drop that load, and once I'm done, go over to Love's TA Petrol, wait for the next load. As soon as I get that next load, I start my week because the Wednesday, that's the close of business. So, you do not want to fill your tank, even if you are low and you got maybe 200 miles at the end of the week. This is for the solo drivers. At the end of the week, on Wednesday, because that's when our payroll runs, $1,600 on Wednesday. If you're on a load and you are getting ready to put fuel in your tank and it's Wednesday, do not fill your tank up. Do not. Because you are taking money out of your pocket for that week and your check gonna be light because you put too much fuel in the truck to end that week out. So it doesn't make sense. You know, if your trip that you're getting that's closing out for Wednesday for payroll is for the new guys. If your trip that you have is going to close out on Wednesday before payroll and you're going into the fuel station, don't fill your tank up. Fill just enough to get you to your 90. Then once you get to your 90 and you drop that load, wait for your next dispatch. If you don't get a next dispatch, now there's certain cases where you might have to fill just enough because you might be on the middle of nowhere. There's some places that there's no fuel stations for 100 miles. So you got to kind of keep that in mind too. And those are for other people that, what about, this and this and this. But if you want to make the most amount of money when it gets ready to be the end of your week, do not fill your tank up when you're dropping that last load for the week for payroll. Don't fill your tank up. People say, oh, if I have to keep my tank full. Why would you keep your tank full? I mean, there's no reason to. That's just money. That's a variable cost. Making money in this business, making money is how you manage your fuel. Not your loads, because your loads are going to be there. It's your fuel, because it's a variable cost. You have a fixed cost that doesn't change. Fixed cost, new people. Fixed cost does not change. It stays the same week in and week out. Your variable cost is your fuel. It goes up, it goes down. Whatever goes on in the country goes up. Whatever in the country goes, it goes down. That's what happens. That's why you use your Macro 27 to get the best fuel on the route that you're going in the area. Now, some people use it, some people don't. I use it. But just keep that in mind, guys, that on Wednesday, and your load that you picked up that's dropping up for payroll, and you're getting ready to go get fuel, don't fill your tank up. make sure that tank is very much close to empty, because it's as of close of business for that week for you. Your truck is a business. You are just a driver of your business when you're leasing. Just remember that. This little tidbit. You know, some of you will do it, some of y'all don't. But try it. If you're like, you don't know what you're talking about, try it. See if it changes how much money you have in your paycheck at the end of the week. You can ask your fleet manager. You know, some fleet manager will tell you. But if you have a good fleet manager, he's going to be your business partner. He's going to help you make the best decisions for your business, for you to make money. Ones that are bad don't give a crap. They talk over you, don't let you express what you got going on. So remember, try that. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, share, hit that bell below so you know when I come out with new videos. Give me a big thumbs up, and share it so all these new drivers out here can get on game and make some money, because we all out here trying to make money. Alright, so remember, be blessed, less stress. Keep the left door closed, right foot down. Only when it's safe, guys. Like I always say, guys, I'll see you on the blacktop. Safe trucking.